Welcome everyone, and this is a big episode as this is the first episode of Franchise Retool, a new series with NHL 22 on DynastyCentral Sports, where I'm going to be taking the helm of a team for 10 seasons and hopefully bringing them to a Stanley Cup and maybe more. And so this episode is going to be starting off the series as we are going to take over the Buffalo Sabres, a team that is definitely rife in the muck of mediocrity right now. They just took over the first overall pick, Owen Power. Unfortunately, will not be able to have him in this franchise as these rosters are not going to be updated fully. I'm going to be using basic rosters on this. I want to keep everything all even keel because I'm going to be taking over every team, going over every team, hopefully bringing them to a Stanley Cup. But unfortunately, Seattle Kraken are not going to be one of the teams that I will be selecting. But first, we're going to start off with the Buffalo Sabres. As you can tell, they are not very good. They had quite a bit of problems the past few seasons. Jack Eichel, Linus Ullmark, and Sam Reinhart are the top players on this team. Jack Eichel does have a bit of a drama behind him right now, and unfortunately, the game does not have that. So that's a good thing for me. I can keep Jack Eichel. However, I do believe for the franchise, it might be better to move on from Jack Eichel. But I'm not going to jump into this franchise retool immediately, trade all these players and, get bigger players, go sign free agents, whatever it is. I'm going to do this realistically. Even though it's more of a franchise fantasy idea of a retool of what I would do. It's not always going to be just going out there, grabbing the best free agents, playing with the salary cap off. I want this to be a very realistic style of a retool for the Buffalo Sabres and every team in this series. So we will be doing moves that I would be selecting if I was actually in the position of GM. Some of the moves, yes, will be quick moves that I just, made on the whim. Draft picks will be more based on what the scouts are giving me. I'm not going to fully go in and I figure out which players are which and draft them every time we do these. I'm going to cut off a bunch of the pop-ups such as like fog of war, morale meetings, and hopefully stuff like that does not slow down the franchise. The first series, though, first episode is going to be the first 5 seasons. We're going to end in the offseason, hopefully in year 5. Hopefully we have a Stanley Cup within that time. But the Buffalo Sabres are definitely maligned right now. So we're going to not do too much the first season. Really, I don't want to go through and just shred this team. I want to see how we build and play in this first season. Probably going to just sim through, take a look at the roster that we are starting with. We got some good names: Casey Middlestad, Jack Eichel, Victor Olofsson. Anders Bjork is a fairly good player. Vinny Hinostroza is a young scorer that can put up points. Rasmus Dahlin, one of the top defensemen in this young defenseman in the league. Henry Gjorgjievski is one of the better defensive prospects. Goaltending wise, Craig Anderson and Aaron Dell are both pretty brutal. Unfortunately, this stock is not very packed. Obviously, we're missing Owen Power, like I said, but we got Jack Quinn, Tage Thompson, a solid defensive core of Jacob Bryson. We got some good goaltending in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
420.
Probably who I will lean on in the franchise future unless we draft some players. But we're going to go through this first season, see how we do. Really just get a good basis of how the Buffalo Sabres are in this season. And so far, the record is just not looking good. 26, 42, and 10 right now in this season. Hopefully finishing up this season. And yeah, it was pretty brutal. I think we might be the worst team in the league. Jack Eichel with 68 points in 79 games, not great, but look at the rest of the people around him not playing great as well. Rasmus Dahlin, 31 points from the blue line. So we're going to do a lot of movement around, probably in this offseason, bring in some new faces, bring in some new players, new goaltending for sure. Craig Anderson, Aaron Dell are definitely not getting the job done, even though the goals against and the save percentage look good for Craig Anderson. The rest of it is just not good. And like I said, we are the worst in our division, worst in the conference for sure. Yep, 16th, and then probably worst in the league. Definitely. We could go with the first overall pick. Thank God. Hopefully we'll get the first overall pick. Seattle Kraken ends number 8. That's pretty cool. The expansion franchise ends in the playoffs, so that's pretty nice. But we do finish 32 in the league, so worst team in the league, right above the Winnipeg Jets. Florida Panthers do win the Stanley Cup for their first Stanley Cup ever. That's an interesting, movement in this franchise already. Blackhawks win the President's Trophy. Vegas wins the Western Conference, and Florida wins the Eastern Conference. What an interesting Stanley Cup final that would be between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights for this first season. McDavid wins the Art Ross. Hart goes to Kucherov. Norris goes to Ekblad. And going over some of these awards, let's take a look at the Calder goes to Lucas Raymond for the Detroit Red Wings. Conn Smythe goes to Frankie Vetrano for the Panthers. Vezina goes to Phil Grubauer. Interesting. Fleury gets the Jennings. And Ben Sherratt wins the Masterson. And Barlow, the expansion coach for the Seattle Krakens, will win the Jack Adams for the top coach. Austin Matthews wins the Richard, and Winnipeg Jets are going to leapfrog us and go with the number 1 pick overall, which is most likely going to be Shane Wright, one of the top draft picks in this. Take a look at the retired players that have already called it in their season. Not a lot of big names in this first retired season. Cody McLeod is one of the top players retiring, so clearly nothing good out there. Jeff Glass and Justin Pogge with a god-awful mustache is going to send in and hang up the skates. Jump into the draft. Winnipeg Jets, like I said, get the first overall pick, and I think this is where I want to make a splash. Trade Jack Eichel to the Arizona Coyotes for the 4th overall pick, Clayton Keller, and another first round pick from the Seattle Kraken. They will accept that. We're going to get Clayton Keller and 2 first-round picks in this draft, which I am excited for. Number 2 and number 4 is on our docket, which is going to stock that cupboard. We got Shane Wright going number 1. And number 2 overall, it looks like I'm going to go with between Pekka Helminen or Brad Lambert. I think I like to boost up that center spot because centers can play wing. Wingers generally can't always play center. Pekka Helminen looks a fantastic player, elite medium, Sean Couturier style, can play immediately, 6'1", 199, 17 years old, shoots right, which is rare sometimes in a center position. He's an superstar X Factor. Brad Lambert, though, is an X Factor as well, elite medium. Nick Backstrom, NHL ready. But I think if I can get him 4th overall, I'll be happy. So let's take Pekka Helminen. He's 82 overall, power forward center. What a fantastic first pick to start off this franchise retool. The Kings are up number 3. Let's see who they will select, and then we will go with the 4th overall pick in this draft. Let's see who the Kings select, and they're going to take Elias Cooper, a sniper, 77 overall, medium. And let's take a look at 4th overall pick. We got Brad Lambert in our sights, but David Jiricek is also a gem, as our scouts have been calling him. He's a solid defenseman, but right now I think our defense is more our stronger suit in our prospect pool. And that goes as well for Kovanov. So we're going to go with Brad Lambert. Boost up the center spot. He's a 76 overall playmaker, which is very cool. Nice to see. Elite mediums for both our first round picks, 2nd and 4th overall. Helminen, 82. Lambert's a 76 center. And let's jump to our next pick at the 22nd overall, which was the Seattle Kraken pick. and I think I'm going to go and take a look at this Jacob Hainsey. And like I said, I really draft based on potential of what our scouts have said after scouting. I don't really go deep into what all the other stats or whatnot are. I always go with potential and just roll the dice. Jacob Hainsey is a superstar X Factor. He's a good elite potential. And so let's go to our next pick at the 28th overall. Nathan Gaucher is going to be our pick. He's a 60 overall. He's going to take a little more time to develop, but he's a power forward center, elite medium. And we're going to jump to the last pick in this first round, 32nd overall. And I want to bring up and I want to grab another goaltender prospect, Wolf Renberg, a 60 overall goaltender. And this is the first draft. I just went through the first round. The rest, we had a lot of picks. So I didn't really want to go through all these picks. But I really feel good about this draft class. We got a lot of them. Sword might be a guy that we'll see later in the season.
You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out.
I want to bring in a new coach. Could be a new coach, off the streets, whatnot. Someone that's a little different from that first season. Get a new start going into season 2. And so we're going to go through the contract renewals. I'm going quick through these. So if you really care about what we're doing, what the salaries we're offering, all that stuff, whatnot, qualifying RFAs, some people we are cutting. We're getting rid of a whole bunch of people, slashing and gashing some of the dead weight on this roster. I'm going to offer some of these RFAs. Cut some of the RFAs maybe, but most of the UFAs I will be cutting, or if I want to bring them back, or if they want to come back under the extension. As you can see, EXT is yes. If that's more likely, they will sign with us. So Vinny Hinostroza has said yes. So let's see if he will re-sign with us. I do like to sign my prospects, my elite prospects, pretty early in their right after draft. I feel like that helps out their potential a little bit better. Jacob Bryson is one of the top defensive prospects I think we have in our pool. So I would like to bring him back. And as I like I said, I'm flying through all these. I'm speeding it up. We got to get this through. We're going to have 5 seasons. So I don't want to keep you here for 5 hours. So taking a look at, we're going to release Dustin Tokarski. We're going to release Craig Anderson. We're going to release Aaron Dell if he does not want to re-sign. The rest of these guys, Cody Eakin, Colin Miller is definitely going to get released. He wants way too much money. $5 million for Colin Miller. Cody Eakin's going to reject. Robert Hagg's going to reject as well. Victor Olofsson. Hinostroza is rejecting as well. I think most likely they just don't want to come back to this shit ass franchise, but I'm going to turn that shit around, guys, so don't worry about that. The Buffalo Sabres will not always be shit in this franchise. The franchise retool is the goal is to bring home a Stanley Cup to this franchise. So let's see what we can do. We have a couple more RFAs and UFAs that I have to sign or release. Robert Hagg, I would like to re-sign. John Hayden, I would like to get the fuck out of here because he's not helping out. Wolanin, going to re-sign him. Hopefully he will re-sign. Hinostroza, I'm going to try to offer you again, but if you're going to reject me, fuck this guy. And fuck Wolanin as well. Doesn't want to re-sign. We're going to release him. And Hinostroza, I'll replace you in free agency. Let's jump to free agency. These are the RFAs that just took a while to re-sign. So they're now re-signing before free agency starts. Take a look at Matt Tkachuk as the top franchise free agent out there. We're going to offer Nino Niederreiter, bring in some physical play with some scoring. Nichushkin I'm going to offer as well. A lot of these offers are going to be some depth scoring, physical players. Dominic Kobalik is a 26-year-old young player that I think he could score some goals on our line. A good player for 4 years. Hopefully he'll re-sign or re-sign. Hopefully he'll sign with us. Hayden Fleury, elite medium, 25-year-old, 80 defenseman. I think he'll be a good time to add to our team. Even though he is an RFA, we may have to lose a second-round pick if we do offer him. Jack Rathbone is an UFA, so we'll offer him as well. Let's take a look at the goaltenders and see if we can find anything. I would like to give Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen some starts out there, so I think I don't want to bring in a big-time goaltender to take over for him. Kubalik will sign. Kevin Lankinen will sign. Nichushkin's going to sign with us. Sammy Blaze is going to sign with us. Rathbone is going to sign. Hayden Fleury decides to sign, but we'll see if the Seattle Kraken will match his contract. And we're going to move forward and try to offer Hampus Lindholm as well. Bring in two good Swedish defensemen with Rasmus Dahlin. Jake DeBrusk, another physical young player that could score goals. I think he's a little maligned in Boston, so I think he would be a good player to add in Buffalo. Hampus Lindholm signed in Detroit, so not with us. And they do not sign his offer sheet, so we are going to move our 2023 second-round pick for Hayden Fleury. I think that's a solid trade. I mean, a second-round pick for an 80 overall defenseman that's 25. Gabriel Carlson, a defensive defenseman, we will try to offer him. And Christian Vesalainen, 23 years old, elite low, 75 score. I think he just has had a problem in Winnipeg. I think we could bring him over to Buffalo and maybe revive his career, and I'm going to offer him a big contract, 5 seasons, a solid contract, give him some stability in our franchise, and maybe he can be a solid diamond in the rough pick. 1.5 mil for 4 years. I think he'll accept that one. It's basically a gift horse. All right, so this is going to be the roster, the lineup for our second season Buffalo Sabres. And so far, I think I'm more impressed by this roster. I like how it looks so far. Defense could use a little bit more help. Jack Rathbone and Robert Hagg make up the third pairing. Tage Thompson is one of the scratch players. And Brandon Hoyle is the new head coach of the Buffalo Sabres, 54 years old. He's a good coach. He comes in 49% team fit, which I'm hoping will maybe be a little bit better. I think he will fit our offense a little bit better. Hopefully he'll turn out well, or we can fire him if he sucks ass. But, you know, Jamie Rollison is our coach in the AHL. He could be a good coach as well. Bring him up if possible. So let's sim through second season, and hopefully we can have a better season in season 2. We got an offer for Jason Zucker, a third and a sixth round pick. I think I'm going to actually accept that, because Jason Zucker could be a good young, depth scorer, and he's only a 1-year contract for $5 million. We have to have some cap help, so adding a little bit more to our cap, and we are going to end the season with a 43, 33, and 6 record. Unfortunately, I do not believe we're going to make the playoffs on that one. Rochester Americans, our AHL team, does make the playoffs, but we don't make the playoffs. Clayton Keller leads the team in points, but let's take a look. We are just out of playoffs, right below the Florida Panthers, who are the former Stanley Cup champions last season. Like I said, Clayton Keller leads the team with 78 points, 70 points out of Victor Olofsson, and 70 out of Dylan Cousins. Pretty good. Kubalik with 57 points, Nichushkin with 51, Dahlin with 50, Helmanen, our rookie, with 45 points, pretty nice. 29 goals out of the rookie, very good to see. The rest of the signings, not that great. Jack Rathbone coming in, and Jeff Skinner, 15 points with 82 games played, 15 points, and you're making $9 million on my salary cap. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to get rid of you soon. Kevin Lankinen got most of the starts this season. 33-21 record. Not bad, but not great. Montreal Canadiens do win the Stanley Cup in this one, and the Providence Bruins win the Calder Cup in the AHL. Let's take a look at the President's Trophy is going to the Ottawa Senators. Western Conference won by the St. Louis Blues. Eastern Conference, Montreal Canadiens, like I said. And let's take a look at the individual. Patrick Kane wins the Art Ross. Hart Trophy goes to Patrick Kane. The Norris goes to Thomas Chabot of the Ottawa Senators. Patrick Kane wins the Bing as well. Calder goes to Shane Wright, number 1 pick overall. Let's see the goaltenders award. And you know what? Shane Wright winning it over Helmanen is kind of bullshit. Conn Smythe winner goes to Josh Anderson. John Gibson gets the Vezina and the Jennings as well. Scandella wins the Masterson. Adams goes to G. Sweetland of the Chicago Blackhawks. Crosby wins the Selke. Lindsay goes to Kane and the Richard. And the New York Islanders are going to go up and get the first overall pick, the worst team in this season. We've got the 11th overall pick and the 14th overall pick. And Connor Bedard, the franchise medium, he is the big time golden boy type prospect coming up in this draft. He will go to the New York Islanders. I'm sorry for him, but 41 goals, 75 assists in his junior season. 17 years old, 5'11", 189 pounds, shoots right center. He's a superstar X Factor, franchise medium potential, which means he's going to be fucking badass. And so take a look at the rest of the draft class. Really don't know who I'm going to get out of this because we do have a later pick in those drafts. We got 11th and 14th overall, so I really don't know what picks we're going to get in this draft as far as among this draft class. Zdeno Chara, Louis Eriksson, Ryan Kessler, and Andrew Ladd are the top retired players in this draft class, or I guess retirement class, I would call it. And let's jump to the second entry draft. As like I said, we have the 11th overall pick. Number 1 is going to definitely be Connor Bedard, an 78 overall center. And let's jump to our pick. Take a look at the rest of the first round picks that we did not get. Klinge, 83 sniper, goes to the Minnesota Wild. Wow, what a big pick at number 2. We're going to look at this pick, and I really don't know what we're going to go with. I like Juha Sivonen. He's a grinder, so let's select him, and he is a top 6 medium power forward. Not a great pick. Well, hopefully we'll get a better pick at number 14 overall. Let's see who we are going to select. We didn't miss out on anything there. You know what? I know I selected a goaltender last draft as well, but Jose Maroon, a elite medium goaltender, I like to bring him in. And he's elite high goaltender, 58 overall. I think he will be a goaltender for the future. Let's jump to the 34th pick in our second round, and then eventually we'll jump to the end of this draft. But I like this Vyacheslav Khabibulin, as I like to say, but I call him Khabibulin just because I think it's a funnier last name. He's a bottom 6 forward, though, grinder, not a great pick. Jump into the 43rd pick overall in the second round. Still another pick, and Pekka Joensuu, another goaltender. I'm going to select him because he's elite medium. Our scouts selected him as a gem, so I thought he would be a good player. We're going to be stocking full of goaltenders. Why? Because I think goaltenders are one of the keys to making great trades in this game. I've always had good luck throwing in an extra goaltender prospect or something into a trade to make something happen, to bring in a big name. So I'm going to stockpile some good goaltending prospects just in case, so I can throw them into trades later if I need to. We're going to take Hunter in the second round. We got a lot of second round picks here in this draft. It's almost ridiculous how many second round picks we got in this draft. And we got rid of one with Hayden Fleury, signing him to an RFA contract, the offer sheet we did last season. And so we're going to take Harkela. I don't even know how to say that. Anyways, jump into the next pick as well, third round pick. And we're going to take Nathan Drapeau. I don't know how to say it. I probably fucked his name into oblivion, but maybe we'll take Michael Bliznak instead. Nah, I don't know. Really, I'm going to go with a lot of what my scouts are going to rank these players at. I'm obviously going to use potential as more of the deciding factor between some of these players. Jumping to our next pick, another later round pick, and Eno Kapanen, 6'2", 200 pounds, from Finland, left defenseman. I don't know. Let's see what the mediums are in the potential. We got a whole bunch of elite mediums still. We got Gravel, Donahue, and Tamander. We're going to go with Donahue. He's a 7th defenseman. Probably not a great pick. We'll probably never see him in this franchise. And we're going to go to the 7th round pick. Probably not no one that we're going to see either, but you know what? We can always hope that a 7th round pick turns out in this franchise. So let's go with this Gravel pick, another goaltender. No, let's go with Steen because he's a defenseman. I don't want to stock up on so many goaltenders that it's just brutal. We have like 19 goaltenders or whatever. So let's take Nicholas Steen. He's a 7th defenseman medium, probably not even a player we'll ever see. We got 6 goaltender prospects though in the franchise. All right, let's recap this draft. First round picks, we took Saivanen and Maroon. We got Habibulin, Yoensu, Hunter, Harikala. We got Drapeau, Donahue, and Nicholas Steen to round out the draft picks of the second draft in franchise retool for the Buffalo Sabres. So let's jump into the contracts and hopefully try to re-sign some of these players and sign some of these new players that we just picked up in the draft. All right, like I said, last one, we're going to just be flying through. Dylan Cousins is definitely a player that I would love to bring back to the franchise. He was a young guy, 22, elite medium. He had 70 points last season, so I think he is definitely on his way to being superstar status. And we're going to offer him a 9.5 contract for 7 years. We're going to, let's see, Ryan McInnes, you're going to go Picard, Mate Picard. He's a top 9 forward. He's more of a depth AHL signing. Kozak, you're probably gone. Asplund, Rasmus Asplund, I think I'm going to re-sign him. If he wants to re-sign with us, I'll be excited to bring him back. Let's see, Jason Zucker. Well, he's an 82. He only got 37 points with us last season, and actually, he didn't play very well for us. But you know what? Let's see what he wants a little bit later and see if I'll offer him a contract. We're gonna release Bureau. All right, Bloom. 67 overall, 20 years old. We got some of these prospects out here. Probably going to release Von Barnow. Bloom, I'll probably 67. I think he might have a little bit more upside. We got Murray coming up here. Brett Murray, will offer him a contract. Rotsalainen, will offer him a contract. Still 25 years old, 77 overall, not too bad. Bjork will offer him 26 years old, still a young player, but we'll qualify him and see if he'll sign with us. Tage Thompson will sign him as well. I think he still has a little bit more potential above him and in front of him. I think he could be a good player in the NHL, so we'll sign him to a NHL contract and see if he'll 69 overall. He's 20. We'll release him. Okposo, you're gone as well. Let's go to the defenseman. A lot of RFAs in here. We're just going to qualify most of these, but we'll sign some of these guys. Laxinen, I think I will sign him to a 3-year contract. Samuelson, let's offer you. He's a son of Ulf Samuelson. Matthias Samuelson is actually the son of Ulf Samuelson, a former NHL player. Well, a couple more qualifying RFAs in Fitzgerald. I can't even pronounce that one. I probably won't even try. Qualify these guys as well, and Kukkonen. And let's take a look at the goaltenders. We're going to offer Maroon a contract as well because I like to bring in these players and get them on contracts. Aaron Dell, get the fuck out of here in a season. I think I'm not a big fan of Aaron Dell. I don't think he's going to be a big player. Gaucher, I want to sign him as well to a contract, bring him in. And then we got a couple more people. We got Zucker left. We got Bloom, Marjala. I think we're going to, let's offer, 2.9. Not bad contract. I think I can get him at $3 million. Bring in some scoring from Jason Zucker. Hopefully he can be a good signing. We're going to offer some of these draft picks we got last season because they are coming up on UFA season. And I would like to bring them in before, get them into the program for AHL maybe. Sword, I actually think he's got a good upside to him. Top 4 defenseman, medium. So we'll sign him. Anyone else? No. So these are all the people that are going to either renew or reject contracts. Dylan Cousins going to stay with us for 7 seasons. I'm happy about that one. I think he's got a good future ahead of him. He's got 70 points from last season in just his second season in the NHL. So good second season, sophomore season for Dylan Cousins. Casey Fitzgerald's going to renew his contract as well. We got a whole bunch of these are the qualifying RFAs that are re-signing Kukkonen. Let's take a look at free agency. And Nathan MacKinnon is on the $12.25 million for 7 years. 93 overall. See, this is what I would say. Could I go out, try to sign him? I got $11 million in cap space, cut a couple people, get rid of them. And that would be easy to do. Bring in a franchise player like Nathan MacKinnon. But, in third season, second off season, I don't think it's very apropos to do that. It's not very realistic. I don't think Nathan MacKinnon would sign with the Buffalo Sabres. Could there be future players down the line that I would sign that maybe are superstars? Possibly. If we come off a good season this year and maybe we can attract a top player like someone that is a Nathan MacKinnon that's a free agent, that'd be awesome. But I'm not going to guarantee it, and I'm not going to always jump out for those players. Oscar Klefbom, a former first-round pick, 29 years old. He doesn't have a great career, to be honest, in Edmonton. He's probably had quite a bit of a maligned career for himself. He's still top 4 defenseman, 82 overall. I'll offer him a contract. Maybe he'll come into Buffalo and play well with us on, Rasmus Dahlin and a good franchise ahead of us. Another maligned franchise going to another one. But maybe the Buffalo Sabres, we're turning it around. We're going to offer Phil the Thrill Kessel to come back. He's 35 years old. Come back. Where is he? He never played for Buffalo. But I'm going to offer him a contract because he's a big name. Love to bring him in. Phil Kessel, 35 years old, shoots right, 6 feet tall. He's a good legendary scorer. We're going to make him a captain because I think he's just a fantastic personality to have in the franchise, on the roster, in the locker room as well. So we'll make him an alternate. And let's take a look at the rest of the lines that we got going into this next regular season. We're going to sim through preseason and take a look at the Buffalo Sabres for third season of Buffalo Sabres franchise retool. Brad Lambert is going to be the number 1 center between Cousins and Keller. We got Olofsson, Helmanen, and Niederreiter on the second line. Kubalik, Middlestad, and Phil Kessel on the third line. Jason Zucker, Rasmus Asplund, and Sammy Blaze on the fourth line. I think that's a pretty good fourth line. Dahlin, Fleury, Klefbom, Joki Harju, a good defensive core. We got Skinner, DeBrusk, and Vesalainen in the scratched right now. Luukkonen and Lankinen are the 2 goaltenders. And then take a look at the AHL. We do have AHL players down there. We got Vesalainen now going down to the AHL with Thompson, Rosen. And so I think that's going to be a good AHL franchise. I think we could be developing them a little bit more. Vesalainen, unfortunately, is still down in the AHL, still not cutting his teeth in the NHL. Let's sim the third season, and hopefully we'll have a good one, make the playoffs. We're going to make a trade for Denis Gurianov because I think this push to get a big-time scorer like Denis Gurianov, who's like an 87 overall on the trade deadline, would be a good addition to us. He's 88 overall, elite medium sniper, and the season is dismal as fuck. 38, 36, and 8. Worse than our season last year, so maybe I should bring in a top line superstar or something. We dropped to 7th in the Atlantic Division. Take a look at the leaderboard. We got Olofsson, Phil Kessel. Where did Clayton Keller drop with 67 games played, 43 points, only 13 games? Real bad. Olofsson leads the team with Kessel, Gurianov, Cousins, Kubalik, Lambert dropped off, Darlene. Helmanen had a poor season. He only played 60 games that's in his second season. The rest of the stats look brutal. Luukkonen and Lankinen switch spots in the starter position, and Luukkonen is not playing well as a starter. Florida Panthers win another Stanley Cup as they're going to bring home the second Stanley Cup in 3 seasons so far. Henderson Silver Knights are going to win the Calder Cup for the AHL. Let's take a look at the awards for the 3rd season in franchise retool for the Buffalo Sabres. Draft lottery, though, San Jose Sharks get the number 1 pick, and the New Jersey Devils jump from number 9 to number 2. Anaheim jumps from 13th to 3, and we have a middle-of-the-road pick. Take a look at the top players in this draft. Malay, Semyonov, Zadorov, Chisik, Kuparian.
That's terrible.
Kuparianen. Anyways, take a look at the fucking awards. Campbell goes to the Jets as they are going to be the Western Conference champs. Take a look at the individual awards. Goes to Connor McDavid as the Art Ross Trophy winner. Probably the Hart Trophy winner as well. No, the Hart Trophy goes to Tim Stützle. He will win the Hart Trophy. Norris goes to John Carlson. Lady Bing goes to Stamkos. Let's see who wins the Calder. Nick Robertson wins the Calder for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Conn Smythe goes to Spencer Knight, the goaltender for the Florida Panthers. Vasilevsky wins the Jennings and the Vezina. Masterson goes to Dahlin. Adams goes to Perrott. Selke goes to Draisaitl. And Lindsay goes to Stützle. And the Richard goes to Alex Ovechkin in 2023-24. Patrick Marleau, Ryan Getzlaff, Zach Parise, James Real Deal Neal, and Sam Gagner are the top retirees in this one. Brian Little, Golly Goose, Edler, Anisimov. Let's jump to the draft, and the first overall pick goes to the San Jose Sharks, and they're going to probably take Aiden Malay, a 84 power forward medium, elite medium, good first overall pick. Let's jump to Patrick Sikora as he's a defensive defenseman, 6'3", 204. To be honest, I don't really think this draft is very hot. So we're going to take Patrick Sikora's top 4 defenseman. Hopefully we'll see him later. Bugner is our next pick. Fournier is our next pick. We did not have a lot of picks in this draft. I traded a lot of the picks away. Hämäläinen and Schultz are going to be our finals picks in this draft. Only 5 after bringing in like 20 picks in the past 2 drafts. So let's go to contract re-signing for the 3rd off season. Casey Middlestad is a RFA. We're going to sign Liam Arnsby, a draft pick we had in the first draft. Middlestad, we're going to qualify him. No, let's offer him a contract. I don't know. We'll come back to him, see what he wants. Gurianov, we're going to try to sign. Oh, shit. $7 million.
Nope.
I don't know if I want to offer him that much money for 7 years. So we're going to probably get rid of him. We made an offer for him. We took a shot for the moon. Hopefully he could have helped us out make the playoffs or whatnot, but he did not. Jack Quinn, we're going to sign him to a contract. 79 overall. He's 22 years old. Young guy. Sammy Blaze, still 28, 79. I might get rid of him. Phil Kessel, I loved him. I thought he played awesome for the Buffalo Sabres, so we're going to offer him another contract. He's 86 overall, still 36, chugging along. Take a look at Rasmus Dahlin, 24. He's 88 overall. We're going to sign him to a big contract because he's my franchise defenseman we're going to have as a totem pole, basically, for that defense. Yoki Harju, we're going to sign him. Definitely, I would like to sign him. 25 years old. He's still young. Jack Rathbone will re-sign him as well. I signed him in the first season, so he's back already for a contract. We got Schultz. Schultz we're going to get rid of. Chatfield, probably release him as well. I don't have these guys. Nelson, I did draft the last pick in the first draft, so we're going to sign him. He's a top 4D, good potential. Kukkonen and this guy, I'm going to qualify him. Gabriel Carlson, we'll offer you another contract because I thought you played well. Lankinen will offer you a contract. No, we're going to release you because I think we could pull in another free agent goaltender in that when that comes around. Casey Middlestad, we're going to sign you $2.9 million for 2 years. Hopefully you'll sign. And this is what we are offering. Who is going to renew? Who's going to reject us? Casey Middlestad will renew. Phil Kessel will renew. A lot of renews. No rejections so far. That's great to see. Gjorgjievski, we're going to release you because $7 million. I just can't offer that with $4.5 million in cap space. Not worth it, in my opinion. And so let's see. Oh, what? Austin Matthews. I'm going to make, 4.1 mil. Let's make this trade. Jeff Skinner, we're going to send a whole bunch of contracts. We're going to send Nino Niederreiter out, and we're going to offer Austin Matthews $13.75 million for an enormous amount of seasons. 6 seasons, I believe. He's going to accept that contract, and that's all I want to offer is Austin Matthews. We're going to move Jason Zucker as well for Joachim Bleichfeld. I feel like this is a pretty lateral trade, but it's a good trade to move some salary. Bowen Byram, we're going to bring him in as well. 86 overall defense. Move some younger players for Bowen Byram, but I think that was worth it because we have a great prospect pool ahead of us. We're going to get offered Justin Hall and Hronek, which we're going to accept this because it's a low offer. It's 4th round picks, basically not worth keeping them, and we can bring up some depth defensemen. Tampa Bay Lightning win the Stanley Cup. We dropped to the 8th pick from 7th, and we don't make playoffs. We're the worst team in the Atlantic Division, even with Austin Matthews at the helm. He had 75 points in 72 games played, 40 goals scored. Clayton Keller jumps back up with 60 points in 82 games, though. 11 goals, not great from Clayton Keller. Helmanen jumps back up, but not great from anyone in this season, really. Austin Matthews, maybe the bright spot of the season. Phil Kessel dropped by 20 points last season. Bowen Byram still not doing great coming in his first season in Buffalo. To be honest, I could say Buffalo is just maligned. They're just cursed. They're not going to ever win a Stanley Cup. But I have to get that out of my head because Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is a good young goaltender. Ulf Renberg is a good young goaltender, and I think we have the potential to make it to the Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid wins the Art Ross Trophy and the Hart, bringing home both those big-time awards. John Carlson wins his 2nd Norris. Bing goes to Nicholas Backstrom. Calder goes to Finley for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Interesting. I've never heard of him before. Braden Point wins the Conn Smythe. Demko wins the Vezina and the Jennings. Let's take a look at the Masterson. Goes to Ben Sherratt for his 2nd one. Griffin wins that one for the Arizona Coyotes. Ryan O'Reilly wins the Selke. And Richard goes to Alex Ovechkin again, back-to-back. Joe Thornton will finally retire with 1,600 points on his scorecard. 456 goals, all over almost 1,200 assists. What a fantastic career from Joe Thornton. Eric Stahl, Jason Spezza, Jeff Carter, Corey Perry, Paul Stastny, Brent Burns, Dustin Brown, and Chris Letang round up the retirees of this season. Patrick Hornquist, Ryan Suter as well, going down to the AHL. Bobby Ryan. Take a look at the goaltenders that are retiring. Quick, Halak, Dubnyk, Reimer, Hutton, all going. Timothy Martindale is the number 1 prospect in this draft. He's a 5'11", 179, 17-year-old franchise medium Mario Lemieux, NHL ready, superstar X Factor. I mean, this is the number 1 pick on this draft. He's going to be a beast for sure. Take a look at the rest of the picks in this draft. The prospects going up, and Jared Bowling, a grinder medium from apparently Latvia or Poland. 1st round pick, 1st overall, goes to the Philadelphia Flyers, and of course they're going to select Timothy Martindale. Why wouldn't he? He's a 83 franchise medium sniper. Playmaker goes number 2. Faith goes number 3 overall. And we're going to select Jared Bowling, a right winger 6 feet tall, elite medium. He's got 3 years on the, hopefully on the ETA. And we're going to jump to the second round pick, 13th. Let's jump to our second round pick in the 27th pick overall in the second round. And it looks like we're going to select Ola Viding because he was a scout recommendation. He's elite low defensive defenseman, 64 overall. We got back-to-back picks in the second round. Ezra Lucic, I don't think I'll select him, even though he's elite medium. Let's see what else we got. Timo Oliveira, scout recommendation, so we'll select him. Take a look at the rest of the draft picks. Svensson is a player that I will definitely say take a look at him in the future. He is going to be a player that I think will have a big future in Buffalo, New York for the Sabres. So take a look at the rest of these players. We're going to sign these contract renewals. We got big time contracts on the docket coming up because we got Helmanen, we got Brad Lambert. Both of them are going to be RFAs needing big time contracts. Joachim Blackfield will sign him. Sivanen will sign him. So we're going to be bringing in no one on the defenseman really of the top ones. We got Bryson, we're going to release him. Qualify Samuelson and Kronholm. Hunter will sign him. Just going through. Just signing all these guys. Sikora will sign him to a contract. Steen will get rid of Drapeau. We're going to sign. And take a look at the goaltenders. Luukkonen, Renberg, Maroon, Busieres, and Masulis. We'll sign Masulis to his contract because he's going to be a depth backup goaltender in the AHL. Helmanen, will sign him for a big contract. Hopefully he'll sign with us, and he does sign with us. That's nice to see. Good to see that Helmanen will be back at the helm. You suck. Svensson, like I said, a big time draft pick. I keep your eye on him. Take a look at the free agents in this one. I'm not seeing a lot of out here. Jacob Chikrin, a big-time free agent, but we don't have the space. $11.8 million, and we only have $3.7 million. We're not going to be able to fit any of these guys in here, and I don't really want to move a bunch of people on my roster to try to fit them in. So we're just going to sign Bjorklund, a goaltender that will play backup goaltender for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the NHL. And let's just jump to the NHL season. Garen Bjorklund will be our backup. And so let's go and take a look at this roster. We got the 5th season roster of Cousins, Matthews, and Lambert, Keller, Helmanen, and Kessel, Festalainen, Gaucher, who is an 85 overall in the 5th season, and we drafted him in the first draft. Remember him? I talked about him now. Bo and Byram, second pairing, 86 overall. Good defenseman, good scratch. We got Luukkonen and Renberg as the goaltenders. Let's see how this 5th season does for the Buffalo Sabres. So far, not bad. We got 40 wins, which is always a nice benchmark. Hopefully that helps us get into the playoffs. And we do make the playoffs. 97 points, and we finally squeak in. Austin Matthews with 85 points on the season. Brad Lambert with 80 points on the season. 62 assists. Dylan Cousins 70. Clayton Keller with 71. Helmanen with 65. Dahlin with 58, 53 points from Kessel. Gaucher with 38. Tage Thompson with 35 points. Pretty nice to see him jump up and get some good play in going. Gaucher with 38 points, 18 goals and 20 assists for a rookie. Pretty nice to see. Vesalainen with 26 points. Carlson with 21. Blackfeld with 20. Mate Picard jumping in with 18 points. Actually, nice to see him because I wrote him off. Luukkonen with 37 wins, a good season for him, and we have made the playoffs. Let's see how playoffs do.
Fucking bullshit!
Give me that!
Fucking rinsed. That's what we did. We got shelled and we got shut out. All right, let's see how we do in this after this next draft. Dallas Stars have the first overall pick, and the Vancouver Canucks bring home the Stanley Cup. Minnesota Wild win the President's Trophy, and Canucks win the Western Conference. Let's see who won the Eastern. It was the Washington Capitals. Individual trophies, McJesus with the Art Ross, and the Hart goes to Kirill Kaprizov. Wow, what an interesting one. First ever Hart Trophy winner for the Minnesota Wild ever, and Kirill Kaprizov winning the Hart. John Carlson gets a trinity of Norris Trophy wins. Martindale wins the Calder. Shocker in that one. He was a beast. Besser wins the Conn Smythe. Vezina goes to Markstrom. Let's see. And he wins the Jennings. Zadorov wins the Masterson. Adams goes to the Vegas coach. Ryan O'Reilly wins his second Selke. Stutzla wins the Lindsay, and Martindale wins the Richard in his rookie season. Malkin, Backstrom, Stamkos, Blake Wheeler, Joe Pavelski, Keith Yandel, Sonkville, Drew Doughty, Shea Weber, and Matt Duchene lead the retirees for this season. A solid class of superstars. Roman Josi and Norris Trophy winner Mike Hoffman, Milan Lucic, Adam Henrique. Let's see the goaltenders. Marc-Andre Fleury with 600 wins finally retires. Tuukka Rask, Mike Smith, Braden Holtby, Brian Elliott, and Cam Talbot, the top goaltenders. And we're going to start next episode with the new draft. We're going to go into that one, and we're going to go from 5 to 10. Hopefully, the Buffalo Sabres will win the Stanley Cup. We'll see you next episode. So smash like down below, hit subscribe, and throw us a comment. Let us know what you thought about Franchise Retool. Hopefully, you join us back for 5 through 10. Hopefully, we will win the Stanley Cup in that time. And we'll see you next weekend for the Buffalo Sabres Franchise Retool. We'll see you later.